Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Urbane Legends, the hit internet podcast about urban legends and other similar topics. I am one of your hosts, Chris Flynn, and with me is a man that my mum mistakenly called Timmy the other day. To me, it's Mr.
Neil Herbert. Did you pronounce it
Timmy
in South Park? Yeah.
No. She said, "Oh, and how was your podcasting? Yeah, it was good. Yeah, had fun. And how was Timmy?" And she went, "Oh, Timmy, why have I said that?"
I do look a bit like Tim Henman.
You do, Tiger Tim.
Yeah, Tiger Tim.
Gone to seed.
I'll do that kind of after every podcast as well.
So, for our international listeners, for a long time before Andy Murray, the tennis player, came along, we had a tennis player called Tim Henman in the UK. Well, we had two. We don't have many tennis players. We tend to produce one at a time.
Before him, we had that Canadian smiley lad.
No, he was with him. It was the same time.
He was
Greg Ruzetsky, because those two played.
He was there for a couple of years before Tiger Tim.
They were
because everyone was like supporting him, and then as soon as
partners.
Tim Henman came out, it's like, well, yeah, Canadian, aren't you? So
fuck off.
Kind of was the inference. Although we all still love Greg Ruzetsky, and but before him, because Greg Ruzetsky was the first one who could actually play tennis, because
was really,
like Jeremy Bates.
He had a really
third
big,
round.
He had a really big serve.
Yeah,
and this was the era of, or just after the era of Sampras.
So it was like
where everyone was like baselining players.
But they were the first ones who were in danger of actually winning Wimbledon for once. But of course,
I don't know if Ruzetsky got past the quarters, but
even to get there, do you know what I mean? That was kind of like
before that.
Getting to the third round used to be the kind of benchmark of an amazing sort of Wimbledon for the British.
But when at Wimbledon, when Tim was on court, you'd just hear voices in the crowds going, "Come on, Tim! Come on, Tim! Come on, Tim!"
But again, there would be occasionally one person going,
But some of them like
used to do a little fist pump to sort of show his passion,
I like
and they got him mocked, which is a bit unfair.
The crowd sort of sounded like it was his like PE teacher, quite annoyed with him. Come on, Tim!
It's like passive aggressive.
Come on, Tim!
For fuck's sake, come on, Tim! 100 years we've been waiting, being entertained by Sir Cliff Richard. I assume he's a sir.
Probably.
Might as well be
a. You do look very much like him.
So
got the same haircut.
Yep.
Got the same gorgeous calves. So yes,
check
Timmy.
me out a pair of shorts.
So Timmy, avoiding
slathering them in strawberries and cream. So anything you like, Sir Cliff?
Well, you'll just have to call me an Eton mess.
Oh look, here's Sue Perkins. We have some fun together.
Oh no. So
Sue Perkins? No, sorry, what's the
Sue Barker?
Sorry, I got my Sues mixed up. Sue Perkins,
okay. They're all the same.
Bakery
person. They're all the same. I'm racist against Sues.
All kind of like, slightly tween and offensive, nice people. Anyway, whatever. Let's move on.
So avoiding at all costs any talk of the meteorological variety. Neil, how have you been?
Yeah. You've set a condition there, so I want to go. Yeah, no,
yes, I've learned. I have to set rules and boundaries.
Spell it out. Oh well, you know. So, maybe you're going to push me into something. No, I'm all good, mate. All good. Well,
you're playing some kind of new game, is that right?
Dave the Diver. I'm well behind on this because I think everyone else came up with it last year. But
all the toddlers. It's a kids game.
It's not violent enough for Chris.
No, he
likes his nice,
simulations where he
likes multiplayer with Andrew Tate, where he's just.
I don't play multiplayer.
Hard boy.
I play simulation games where I simulate essentially.
I take Zootropics recommended by Alex Jones, so I reflex as fast as possible.
Yeah. Well, whatever. It's the only place I can get them. All right, it's the only place I can get them. I don't like that I'm giving him money, but good products. What can I say? It's not my fault.
The side effect that you've got testicles the size of peas, so be it.
Yeah, I know they certainly are growing. No, I like playing simulation games where I simulate doing a job which is actually worse than my job is in real life.
That's not a fan of that.
I like doing that. Yeah, so I'm a taxi driver in Barcelona at the moment. Then There are a lot of fairs. People like game's a bit unrealistic. You get like a couple €100 for each fair, even though it's like 2 kilometers. But hey, that's it. Do you know what?
Mind you, Barcelona these days wouldn't shock me.
Do you know, it's because I spot the tourists from a mile off, isn't it? This is the voice of people in Barcelona, by the way. Well, do you know what? I can spot a tourist from a mile off. I'm going to rip that cunt right off.
That's the true Catalan.
The true Catalan. Yep. Proud independence should be that. Now, something which is annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said this before, but the propensity now on our home computing for adverts and stuff to pop up on your fucking desktop, or like right now, I've got on my bar under.
This is going to be one of those you shouldn't have gone googling about.
No,
look at this film. It's like, no, it's the targeted adverts there.
No, it's normally like antivirus stuff, but
oh right, yeah.
But on my taskbar, I haven't asked for any of this. I don't really want, but apparently the pound is up 0.4% against the Australian dollar.
That's good to know. When it would
Who do they think's using the fucking computers? Who wants to know this stuff? Like, fair enough if you sign up to it because you're in a fucking currency exchange, but
yeah.
Why do I want that?
If you're a day trader, I imagine it'd be quite useful, but then you're probably sitting there looking at your day trades, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't want to know that. Weather, fine. Well, yeah.
Well, let's have a look. I've got the market here in my thing, so let's see what the FTSE's doing. Up 3%, Chris.
Oh, that's good. There was some panic in the markets, wasn't there, at the tail end of last week?
Yeah, I believe tech things are crashing or something.
Yeah, well, a lot of the cryptocurrencies are going to the wall. That's good.
It's unsurprising.
So Neil,
buy tulips, people. Back to the original bubble. That's what you want to do.
Buy tulips, tulip bulbs. Yeah.
Safe as houses.
So Neil, there's been a lot of news, right? We're in a very news dense environment that, like, it appears,
which has very little nutritional value, but yeah, there's a lot of it.
Very little nutritional value. Terrible for your mental health.
Yeah.
But so in the UK, and so this is right, and I want to ask you a question about. So in the UK last week, there were some far right riots, the largest of which had a couple of hundred people.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, all the anti-racist people came out in their tens of thousands, right?
Yeah.
And I want to ask you a question about that in a minute. But something I have noticed is I noticed that on Twitter, loads of people in America who I follow were like talking about the riots in the UK.
Yeah.
But then no one talked about the massive
counter protests that happened.
No, and I don't think that the people who I follow would be people who would have ignored that. And so has he fucked around with the algorithm, or whatever, so that the peaceful protests, like, you didn't see them so much in America as you saw the fucking nuts far right thing, or is it just the fact that the far right are so prevalent on Twitter now that they pushed the story out?
I would suggest that they certainly have far more of a voice, but also I would suggest
a correct voice,
wrongly or rightly, the more you've got more propensity to like pay for that blue tick, the more right wing you are.
Yeah.
I think most of us can't be bothered. So whether it's just because they're paid members and they want to get their voice out.
Blue tick? So having a blue tick, does that mean that your stuff gets seen more as well?
Yeah, basically it's boosted on the algorithm.
All right, maybe get that then.
It just becomes. Well, the thing is, you can tell the difference when you look at the you do the kind of like my following and then the for me or whatever it's called, and it's just it's like a right wing echo chamber. I've just muted most of. Like, I muted Musk after about 2 seconds.
Oh, as soon as he bought it,
yeah. Shut up! You're not funny.
Yeah.
But I still have to listen to stuff from him because it comes up sort of by osmosis.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. No, so I think of you really
not representative of the real world. I would say that much.
Now, I think of you. I'll do that in a sec. In Brighton, we had counter protests. We didn't have a right-wing protest. We had a count. There was
a threat, and I believe that the excuse announcing on social media is it was all just a hoax. But there was what came out on like the right-wing socials was kind of like, oh, we're going to do it here, and here, and so
they were looking at targeting the immigration lawyers.
Yeah, by Brighton Station, and as per last time they tried to, they didn't get very far down Queen's Road.
No, there was a band playing and stuff as well, which I loved. That's how Brighton sort of did it. There was like a samba band
with a tuba, and then just do a bit of samba.
Yeah,
just had a bit of fun with it, and then just killed them off by the Sainsbury's.
The four of them with their one. When there was 5,000 people from Brighton, to blocking their access to it. But yeah, no, I sort of. So when a lot of people ask me in DMs, sliding into my DMs and that kind of stuff.
Right, okay, yeah.
Why is it that you have Neil on the podcast, right?
Yeah, I can't think of a good reason.
No one can.
You might as well just yell at yourself on this.
But the reason is, and I'm quite open about this to anyone, is I consider you the moral arbiter of the podcast.
Yeah.
So what's the podcast's position on the far right riots?
A bad thing, I think we'll say.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go another way. I had a solid anti-immigrant 10 minutes there.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Let's save that for the other podcast. Let's save that for the Patreon.
Do you know what? I'll probably sell it to Nigel Farage or something.
Yeah.
Here's some good lines, Nige. 10 grand. Cool. Okay. And there's all the stuff in America. Kamala Harris seems cool. The Waltz guy seems all right, doesn't he? It's like a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, well, just they're driving old Trumpy up the wall, so that's quite funny. He's now saying, "Oh, well, look, this photo's clearly doctored because you can't see the reflection on the plane engine." Okay. But Grandad back to bed.
But what I will say is, like, it's all ha-ha, very funny, and all that kind of stuff. But I think they've taken it too far, and I think if I was American, I'd vote Republican, because that Waltz guy came out and said, "I'm happy to debate J.D. Vance anytime if he can get off his sofa," right? And that's because of all of the
rumours that he fucks couches, I believe. So,
yeah, but the thing is,
he has got the air of a couch fucker.
A man's couch is his own personal kingdom.
That's true, yeah.
He owns the couch.
Yeah.
He's presumably paid for it, unless he's got it on layaway. And I just think that's not very open-minded and left-wing of them to have a go at him over his sexual proclivities.
Well, is it like Karl Popper's tolerance and intolerance paradox?
First they came for the sofa fuckers. I did nothing. Then they came for the men who masturbated in the bushes by the railway tracks. Again,
this is like you sticking up for the gimps. Yeah.
About 2 years later, they came for me, and there was no one left to stop them. I'm just worried.
I'd be sitting out all of those rounds, to be honest with you. No,
just worried. I just think they've got to be a bit more open-minded, eh?
Well, fair enough. What anyone wants to do with it. No, I think it's just that they seem to have hit upon a strain of. Well, I think that everyone's pointing out on weird, just saying weird, and it's really triggered people. But I mean, look, I'll be completely honest with you. It's like I'm sure everyone's having a lot of fun, but it doesn't write policy, and it's not particularly, you can't.
Well, they don't. But American politicians don't write policy, so basically, you don't. When you're running for president, you and your party do not provide the electorate with a manifesto of what your term in government will aim to achieve. You don't do that. They don't have manifestos.
No, I just mean that the whole...
Which is fucking insane.
Because I do think that America can be a bit of a bellwether for where we're going to end up.
I absolutely don't agree with that.
No, fair enough. But I just... The whole idea of, sort of divide and conquer, it just worries me because it's... I don't know if I can get into this, but yeah, nothing good comes out of it in the end. But there you go.
I think that
But let's all just enjoy.
I like Waltz's thing, which is we have because if you've got to do the old homespun stuff, which somehow plays in America.
Which candidate we want to go out for a beer with?
None of them. None of the cunts don't even drink. Just how about instead of having a beer, you go and get on with your fucking job.
Yeah.
That's sort of my opinion on it.
Yeah.
I like the line. He's like, well, where's he from? Is it Montana? No, Missouri, I think. But he's like, we got to say,
one of them M states.
Yeah, one of the M states. We got to say in Missouri, my neighbor might like something I don't like, or we all live together because we mind our own goddamn business. And that's kind of the big thing which they're going for. It's like, mind your own business. Because the only thing the Republicans can come back with is, no, we won't mind our own business.
Yeah. We'll mind your business for you.
Anyway, fingers crossed for a bloodless election.
Oh, indeed. Yeah.
And
we'll see how the inevitable civil war gets on where we are.
Yeah. Well, we're already in civil war, aren't we? Neck deep in it.
Let's wade through the petrol bombs on the way home.
Yeah, it must have been difficult.
Do what you got to do. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Preston's gotten a bit feisty ever since the Greens got in.
Well, they're trying to cede from the Brighton and Hove Unitary Authority, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, good Lord.
So, Neil,
Someone threw some quinoa at me.
Oh, fuck.
Stings. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah, people looting muesli. You, I believe, have the unenviable task of leading us on this merry jaunt.
Is that enough bullshit? Should we get into?
Yeah, I've got more, but
you don't want to save that gold for another
we're doing it in the evening, and I'm getting hungry. So
yeah, right. Let's
so basically, so what I'm saying is, I'm hungry, so therefore I'm going to
get on with it. Yeah,
yeah. Right. That doesn't matter what the listeners want, Neil. I'm hungry, so.
Well, the listeners are hungry for some urban myths, so if you'll step to one side, so
as long as they're not hungry for entertainment, we'll be sound as a pound.
Well, not too hungry, a very modest appetite.
Not even peckish, like a bit full. Feel a bit.
Maybe one waff of thin mint I could do with entertainment.
Not even that. I'm feeling a bit sick, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is a podcast for you.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Everyone's now turned off. Brilliant. Good. So we go to, this is from Nouveau Magazine, the writer Ali Turner, Canadian Urban Legends, the mysterious tale of the Oak Island treasure.
Oak Island. Oh, okay.
You might have heard of this because this is a big deal on the History Channel.
I've seen them all, mate.
11 fucking series. Unbelievable. So I was just looking, I decided to do a Canadian Urban Legend because I just thought, well, let's go somewhere different.
Yeah. So they've got a lot of Nessia likes in Canada because it's got a lot of lakes.
A lot of big lakes and things, yeah. I mean, there's only one Nessia, as we know.
Oak Island, eh?
So, yeah.
That's something I'm an absolute expert on.
Well, this should be interesting then, because, I did see this after I'd chosen it. There was, because basically something comes up and, we'll get to this at the end, but apparently they discovered in the last season, in season 11, they discovered the treasure. So I'll be going through Wikipedia and picking through.
Spoilers.
Because this article is from 2020, so pre-finding the treasure. So hopefully we're going to have a great capper at the end here.
Oh,
beautiful. So,
I just have having watched 10 series of it, I kind of have a feeling that
nothing's going to happen. Let's see.
Because even in the 10th series, right? So they've had 10 different.
We found a coin.
No, but like at the start, like it's the curse of Oak Islands. So the history or legend says that the pirate whatever buried some shit here. So far they found, and it's like the 10th series, and it's like. It's like,
well, no, don't, because I'm going to go through the Wikipedia page on that.
Yeah, so but it's like this buckle, this cross, and this bit of wood.
You've kind of ruined the ending there, but okay, that's fine. Right, so let's dive into the.
I'm saying no, because I'm saying before that bit. This is I don't know what's happened.
Okay. So you haven't got to that 11th series
No.
yet. Okay, so no, because that will be because I think we're going to get the blooms aplenty.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm just saying that the first, like, even after 10 series,
See, the 11th
only
series,
thing they show you at the start of the episode to draw you in is like one thing they found in like series 1, one thing they found in series 4, one thing they found in series 8, and it's like.
See, series 12. It's just going to be they're going to be in sort of like gold lame suits and just
They'll be jumping around like Scrooge McFucking Duck.
Yeah, with all their doubloons. Okay. So, as anyone who's ever played a game of telephone can tell you, rumours can morph until they're barely recognisable as the truth. That's the fun of the game. Just like telephone.
I disagree with that. Clear communication.
You think it's actually just a moral about how,
Yeah, it's about communicating.
The dangers of not being able to communicate correctly.
Clear communication.
Don't do it again until you get it right.
Causes common
conundrums. I don't know.
No, something good.
Consequences.
No, something good.
Oh, something good.
Fuck it. Move on.
Don't matter. Good consequences. No, just like telephone, the story of Oak Island, a 57-hectare privately owned landmass off the coast of Nova Scotia, has turned rumour to old wives' tale to legend.
Nova Scotia, of course, means New Scotland.
Yeah. In 1795, 16-year-old Daniel McGuinness stumbled across a mysterious filled-in passage descending into the earth with a pulley system.
Wouldn't
we all like that? The hole was flanked by 3 trees that formed a triangle, and the trees had symbols carved in the base. This was all it took to spark whisperings that the infamous pirate Captain Kidd, I think we might have talked about him before.
We have.
Yeah, what did he come?
Different one. That was off like the coast of, I want to say Georgia or something. But...
Was that the ghost boats or something?
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, it's Lost Treasure.
Oh, okay. So, this is another Captain Kidd Lost Treasure story. Anyway, he landed on Oak Island and buried the treasure he plundered from his various voyages. McGuinness's initial evacuations with his friends yielded nothing beyond rotting oak platforms at 3-metre intervals the entire length of the shaft. But that was enough to capture the cultural imagination.
Yeah, why is it there?
Yeah. Well, it does sound interesting. Stuff
it's like a mine shaft with like floors.
Somebody's put it in there for some reason.
It's a lot of effort if you're not just for a laugh.
Do it for no reason.
Unless you're insane.
Yeah. Captain Kidd probably was, to be fair. Stories and reports of the treasure were published starting in 1857 and have only grown since then, spawning documentaries, movies and TV shows, and 11 series of The Curse of Oak Island on the History Channel near you. Follow the adventures of Gary Dayton and Rick Lagina.
I just want to quickly say that it says there's a History Channel near you. Either it says it or you said it, but actually that's not how TV works. You don't have to be near where the TV, where the channel
what broadcasting is. It just sort of beams into
what happens with broadcasting is it either beams it or if you're watching it through the internet, it goes through the cables. I know that some people get confused by this, and if they want to watch something on ITV, they get in their cars and drive to the studio. But you can watch it at home. Are you saying
that TV well I installed in my house is unnecessary? I don't have to keep dredging the depths to get iPlayer.
Well,
it's only £100 a month.
That's all right then.
Yeah, there you go.
That's all right. The thing is, it adds value to the property.
Yeah, that's true. Right. Where were we? And TV shows included the most recent History Channel reality show, The Curse of Oak Island. So there you go. In 1804, after McGuinness and his friends reached the 30 metres below the surface, the money pit flooded with seawater. After that, people directed their attention to the rest of the island, and a centuries-long fervour began.
Yeah, so there is a load of weird shit on that island. There is a load of... something's going... I don't know what
it's kind of like the Lost Island, isn't it?
Well, no, there's because when they did I don't know. I haven't seen Lost, and that's more supernatural than this, presumably, seeing as they're in limbo. But But no,
No, that was just the 5th series.
But there's like a proper thing, like
Common misconception.
If like they kind of excavated a load more years later, and there's like a proper trigger to flood this place if someone comes in through the top.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why do it?
Well, that is a bit Lost-esque, to be honest with you, because it's got loads of. Well, there was supernatural stuff, but there was a load of scientific stuff as well. Because there were a load of scientists who built a load of things on the island as well. That was because it was about faith versus reason, Chris. That was one of the themes.
Well, I don't think it has to be a versus now.
That's fine.
I think at the end of the day, science really humans, we're quite limited. So at the moment, and we've only really scratched the surface, haven't we?
This is true.
Of reality and what everything is. So
there you go. So who was interested in this? Errol Flynn, John Wayne, and Franklin D. Roosevelt were among those obsessed with the contemporary El Dorado-esque legend of Oak Island, and all three were involved in the search at some point or another. That'd be a fun dinner, wouldn't it, with those three? As a young man, while working as a law clerk, Roosevelt visited the island and continued to follow the quest of other treasure hunters for decades after. So the initial shaft that was discovered has been given the nickname the Money Pit for the supposed treasure at the bottom, but it's also that name given the many expensive expeditions.
Yeah, I was going to say the amount of money they put into it. I'd be surprised if, like, the final episode wasn't just them going,
getting to the bottom and going, right, nothing here.
Going, right, fuck it, we found nothing. Let's just bomb the cunt. Just blow the whole thing up. Like, we've spent millions.
So even so, strange and inexplicable objects have been uncovered over the years to keep, or enough of those have been, I think is what they're trying to say, has been uncovered over the years to keep the public security peaked and treasure hunters coming back for more.
Yes.
Coconut fibres. I don't see how that's particularly interesting.
Well, because coconuts aren't from there.
Oh, okay.
You don't get coconut. Do you get coconuts in Scotland, Neil? Well, I mean, you can get them in the supermarket.
Yeah, literally, anywhere you like.
But do you get coconuts?
Are they indigenous to Scotland? No, they're not, Chris. I didn't say they were grown naturally. I mean, people could have brought them across, couldn't they? Captain Kidd, he liked a coconut.
Exactly. So that's why it's intriguing.
He liked a rum and coconut-based cocktail.
He did, yeah. He's very well known for it.
Okay,
but that's why it's intriguing because in New Scotland they also don't have coconuts. Otherwise, it would have been called New Miami,
Hawaii, wasn't it? Okay. Tablets with unrecognisable symbols. Yeah. I don't think that's like the tablet computer.
No, it's like Viking runes.
Yeah. Coins, jewellery, and a lead cross thought to be between 420 and 820 years old have been found at the site with no possible justification as to how or why they are there. I mean,
which on the TV
somebody
show
visited the island and left it there was how
they claim. Because on the TV show, I think they moved away from it being Captain Kidd's treasure to being a number of other people's possible treasure.
Yeah.
But the one being, which is good for this podcast, is the cross could be from the Templar Knights.
Templar Knights, Jesus himself.
Jesus himself, who was a Templar Knight.
Yeah. It's like Jerusalem in ancient times. Did feet walk on this?
Nova Scotian
soil.
Nova Scotian sludge.
Yeah. Dig out a big old thing and then put a trap in it so nobody can get a treasure at one. Subsequent digs have found or created additional tunnels that collect to the money pit in the ocean, but they've also yielded misfortune and tragedy. Dams that were built to prevent the tunnels from flooding were knocked out by storms. Tunnels have collapsed with people still inside, and to date, 7 treasure hunters have died in pursuit.
Yeah, dangerous game.
You've got a picture of FDR with a load of other people in Nova Scotia.
Was he one of the ones who died? Is that how he died?
Well, was he in a wheelchair, FDR? So there you go. That's probably how. I think
that's how he got in a wheelchair.
Yeah. You have polio? I might have.
He claimed it was polio, but it was
it was the island.
He actually trod on a Templar nail and got a gangrenous foot.
Got gangrenous foot, and then
had to lop it off, of course.
Yes, he did. He did. He was in a wheelchair. Yeah, not when he was at Island or whatever it's called, Oak Island. Excuse me, I've already forgotten what. Anyway, the Curse of Oak Island reality show. Actually, I think this is mostly going to be about the bloody TV show. The Curse of Oak Island reality show popularised the legend that 7 people. So have you like seen loads of this?
Yes.
Fucking hell, you're pure.
Loads. Well, you got to remember that.
Recommended you show, oh, it's boring. I know all about, ancient Japan or 17th century Japan. And you're sitting there watching 10 seasons of this fucking turd.
I haven't watched it recently, but yes, I have watched it, Neil, because
absolute state of you.
First of all, Neil, I'm divorced, right? Yeah. Second of all, I used to have a
divorce from reality.
Second of all, I used to have a drinking problem, right? Third of all,
don't fucking wonder.
Yeah, I know. Which came first? Yeah. Third of all, I quite like to play a game on my laptop and just have some nonsense on the telly.
No, fair enough. Right.
Fourth of all, I love it and I want to marry them all.
You're going to go to that island one day.
I'm going to go to...
I've stumbled across your favourite urban legend.
I'm going to go to the brothers who bought the thing and financed it. I can't remember what their names are. They've got... the
Lagina brothers, I think.
That's it. Lagina brothers. Yeah, they own a vineyard in Michigan or something weird.
Something about this. He's involved with...
So I'm going to go there and I'm going to propose to them both.
Yeah, nice. Will you marry me?
Yeah. Right. Hi there. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah. Hello. Hi there. Can I help you? I've seen you on Oak Island. Oh, great. Did you like the show? Will you marry me? Oh, geez Louise, no. Can I speak to your brother then? Okay. Be something like that.
Maybe not.
Remembering, of course, that I'm as naked as the day I was born.
Oh, yeah. You take that for granted. So, popularized legend that 7 people were fated to die before the treasure could be found. Real Pirates of the Caribbean stuff.
No, it's not.
Not really. And the show is in its 7th. Yeah, they invented all of that on Pirates of the Caribbean, didn't they? I think Treasure Island might have something to say about that. No, it was Johnny Depp came up with that, didn't he?
Johnny Depp came up with the idea of buried treasure and pirates himself.
And pirates, yeah.
He said, what if we did Star Wars, but in the Caribbean?
In between fucking commercials for...
and hitting his wife.
Yeah, perfume. Oh, yeah, and domestic abuse.
It's too much on the JD on the JD.
It's hard to keep up, isn't it? Right. The show is in its 7th season. No, it's in its 11th now. And it's responsible not only for a lot of the artifacts that have been found, but some of the more outlandish theories. And as you say, by the 7th season, all they've found is like 3 pieces of wood and a bit of coconut fibre.
Gorgeous hairpin. Oh, that's a top pocket find. There's an English guy on there who's the who's quite camp.
Represent. Brilliant.
He's representing Britain, modern Britain.
Yeah,
he's the
goddamn right.
He does the metal detecting. That's like his thing.
Yeah, of course he does.
Does his metal detecting, and there's this guy who's kind of like the dog's body, does a lot of, and the metal detecting guy is just out and going. Like, you go, oh, I've got something there. Would you dig? And like the guy has to go in and like dig every time. Like he doesn't dig up his own shit. I think he must have it written into his own contract.
Oh, so that's a bit harsh.
Getting someone else to do your digging for you while you're titting around with your little hobby. Yeah. No, sorry, he's an expert at metal detecting.
Yeah. Well, he can't because you got to have smooth hands to.
And when it's good. He says, "Oh, that's a top pocket find." Like that's his catchphrase.
Nice.
And then they sometimes go, "John, do you think it could be a top pocket find?" He goes, "Oh, I think maybe it will be." It's great. Do you see what I mean? Like it's a relationship.
The banter just builds up over a series, doesn't it?
Very much like it does in a prison. That sort of gallows humor.
Yeah.
Like it does on death row or something, you know.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Right,
Neil, you should really think about, stop watching your fucking blockbuster historical dramas.
I've just bought the last 11 series.
Oh, good.
I've just got myself a lifetime subscription to the History Channel.
Nice.
Right.
I think get the rights. I don't see any reason why we can't do a stage show.
Yeah.
A musical.
Yeah, you got to turn this guff into gold.
Do a musical. We can get the Weeknd to do the music for it.
I'm already getting the sense there's a lot of grift around this whole story. Anyway, so pirate treasure is the least absurd thing this island supposedly has to offer. Spanish naval treasure,
Oh, can I just say something that's interesting about the island, which is an actual interesting thing if you take away all the stuff?
I think I'm covering the interesting things about the island, but yeah, go on. If you have a further interesting thing to say about it.
So, really interesting, I forget the guy's name, but there was a guy who was like an escaped slave who kind of escaped to Canada from America.
Okay.
And he like managed to save up enough doing jobs and stuff to buy like a tiny plot.
Mm-hmm.
But because he was such a good businessman and worked really hard and stuff, he ended up being sort of the landlord for most of the island.
Okay.
So it's like a real success story.
Yeah.
And there was some talk, because they were like, well, how did he manage to do that? Like, how did the escape slave manage to do so well? And so rather than obviously thinking, well, hard work, you know, like good business acumen.
No, assume he just had a good business model.
People kind of speculated that maybe he'd found some of the treasure, and that's how he was able to do it.
Yeah, that sounds depressingly accurate. No, well, good luck to him.
He's a really impressive guy.
Yeah. So, Spanish naval treasure, British imperial treasure, a Viking ship, Marie Antoinette's jewels, Shakespeare's manuscripts, and the Holy Grail or Ark of the Covenant are all thought to be on Oak Island.
It's easier to find stuff than not, really. So it's surprising that they've struggled because there's a lot there.
This is due in large part to the oddities and inconsistent time periods of each artifact that is found. There aren't enough pieces of a puzzle to form a clear image, but instead what appear to be single pieces of several different puzzles.
Yeah.
The only problem with knowing for sure is the quicksand. Oak Island is covered in quicksand and sinkholes, which can give the impression that the land has been disturbed and something buried there. And it's also why tunnels and digs are prone to collapse and high levels of danger in earlier explorations as the ground is highly unstable. Okay. So, actually, we're coming to a bit of an end here. So
a difficulty with stuff like this as well is the propensity of the treasure hunter to try and tie everything together. Because the thing is...
It's one big story.
Yeah, so
there's probably multiple things going on.
Yeah, so people on and off use the island, right? At one point, there was like a dock there that someone had put there, and then that would have just kind of made a wooden... like dissolved over time, and then someone would have built something over there. And do you know what I mean? Like land gets used and reused for many different purposes, and you can't
absolutely.
And if you're trying to go, well, all of these things must mean, it's like, well, no, it just it's just over 500 years. Things
will accumulate. Yeah, absolutely.
Come and go.
I mean, that's my thing. Is different people might have gone out there and done things, or might have done their own treasure hunting and left things behind. You know, who knows? Or buried their own treasure. So, the Curse of Oak Island's 7 years of exploration were backed up by tremendous personal funding by the show's host, Rick and Marty Lagina.
Don't mind if I do, boys.
Yeah, Chris is up for it. Allowing the team to use modern technology and equipment to drain swamps, excavate large swaths of land, and even send divers down into the original money pit. The conclusion drawn by the show and by anyone following the story of Oak Island closely enough is it was a stopover for many travellers and explorers throughout history. Yeah, that was my guess. All of the theories hold some kernel of truth. Human bones of European and Turkish origin were found on the island, which, coupled with the cross, indicates that the Knights Templar most likely did pass through. They might have done. They were, they did a lot of... Well, they went all over the place, Chris, and they were... The Knights Templar, they were all over the world.
Were they?
Because it used to be that you could... that was why they got so rich, because you could trade money, because they were all over the place.
Yeah, I know, but you've got to remember that you
could trade money from one place to another.
Yeah, but the Knights Templar were gone
before
Europeans went to
or something, before they actually got to America.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that seems slightly dubious. They were more going in towards the Middle East, as I understand.
Yeah, because they set up.
Sorry, the Knights Templar. There's so many ridiculous tales about them. I kind of forget the fact that they actually got wiped out in what was it?
Yeah,
the 15th century
they were
or
set up to protect pilgrims and their assets who were going to Jerusalem from around Western Europe.
Basically, they got too rich, and the French king decided to fuck them over to
money. Just he wanted the money. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I'll
tell you what would have protected them from that. Should put it in crypto.
Yeah.
See,
decentralized currency. You can kill me. You can burn me to death for sodomy Philip III, but I think you'll find that the blockchain will still show that the currency is owned by me. So good luck with that.
So you can't take it with you. Let's see about that.
Yeah. With a decentralized banking system, I think you'll find you can. Yeah. It's called four-dimensional chess, my friend. Five-dimensional, possibly. I don't know. Whatever. And he still burned them at the stake. Right. Conclusion drawn by the show and by anyone following the. Oh, no, we've got already like. Yeah, they reckon the Knights Templar passed through it. Yeah, I agree with you. That seems highly unlikely. As did pirates and Spanish naval ships.
Possibly, yeah.
And again, that's entirely impossible because they would have been all over the New World. That should be what. Actually,
I think the thing
when did the Knights Templar?
Because of TV and media, we could, in my head, sort of if I did know more about it, my image of pirates is around the Caribbean, right?
Yeah, kind of 17th to 18th
pirates,
century.
we still got pirates now, but I mean, like the Barbary coast, like fucking Morocco and stuff, right? And America, their first naval engagement as a fledgling country was going and attacking the pirates of the Barbary coast.
Yeah, we had the Ottoman Empire was right. I mean, and again, one person's pirate is another person's privateer, you know.
Well, the thing is with the Barbary coast lads is they did take a lot of people for slavery.
Oh, entirely agree. But then that
to the Ottomans, yeah, from Ireland and stuff as well.
They went on the coast of Europe as well, all up to Cork. Yeah.
And loads of it was along a load of the pirate stuff, like Blackbeard and lads like that, was more along the American eastern coast than it was in the Caribbean.
Yeah. Okay, so. And anyway, all of this should be wondrous enough, even without conspiracy theories of the Holy Grail, buried treasure, or Sir Francis Bacon's original Shakespearean manuscripts. Maybe it's time to hang up the telephone. So that was part of a series on Canadian urban legends.
Don't tell them how to spend their money, their wine money.
Right now. So as I was Googling this, and then it's a load of stuff came out. So on TikTok, there's Curse of Oak Island 2023 treasure found. Watch the Curse of Oak Island full episode. Discover it, the money pit reveals. So moments the Oak Island treasure was found, exclamation mark. So I went on to Wiki. So I'm now going to reveal live on air, Chris, what's been found. So I didn't bother watching the TikTok. That was too long.
No, fuck TikTok.
So notable discoveries. A Spanish copper coin, believed to be dated by the 17th century. A yet to be authenticated Roman sword. I suppose it's both literary manuscripts.
Yet to be authenticated Roman sword.
A small piece of material that may be a bit of an old book or a bookbinder.
Yeah.
A human bone fragment of Middle Eastern ancestry. A lead cross with a square hole. A rhodite garnite brooch, 400 years old. A metal hinge. A claimed Roman era shipwreck just off Oak Island.
What's that?
A claimed Roman era shipwreck.
Roman. I mean,
unauthenticated as of 2016.
Pushing it back to Roman time seems too much.
Unlikely. Ring bolts, ox shoes, a metal panel, and finally, and I'm assuming this is fuckloads of doubloons, a carved stone slab similar to some on the surface and one dug up in 1804. Right. Some have speculated the show is a hoax and false news. While others speculate if there ever was any treasure, it has already gone. Right. So that's the big haul that they've managed to dig out of there thus far.
So
clearly 2023 there never was.
My concerns for this doesn't look good, lads, that I had in like series 2 it looks like it turned out to be true.
I don't think they're getting anything off of this island.
No, I think
don't get me wrong, give it another 20 series. You know.
Are they carrying on?
I've no idea, mate.
Do you think that the amount that the Sexy Brothers get from a History Channel,
I think it probably
counteracts the amount of money which they have to put in?
Yeah. Well, I think it's more to stave off bankruptcy. They have to keep making series of this shite because they're fucking gone all in on this ill-advised adventure.
They've been slowly selling the.
Fucking hell, this is the only thing History Channel's the only thing keeping us afloat.
They've like taken their eye off the ball with the wine, and it just tastes like fucking vinegar. They've been like selling like hectare by hectare, like all of their vineyards, just to fund a fucking digger.
Yeah.
To go and fall in some mud.
So there you go, the Curse of Oak Island, or the urban legend of Oak Island. I hadn't realised you would be so familiar with it, but yeah, it's a fun little urban legend. I mean, it looks like it's probably all to naught, but yeah, I think there's something.
Is
quite
there anything
interesting.
else? Because we're running a bit short, I think. So the Curse of Oak Island season 11 finale ends with the team planning a new dig. So I don't think it's finished.
No, it's not. Because supposedly, yeah. With every season, the Leginas and their friends edge closer to making a huge discovery. 11 seasons later, they're yet to do so.
I like it that whenever they find something metal, they drive to the nearest guy who might know something about it, who's like a blacksmith, right?
Yeah.
Who lives about 6 hours away in the car, because obviously Canada and America are horrendously large.
Yeah.
And he's got such a thick, weird accent that they have to put up captions underneath. Like, it's got a really weird sort of Canadian sort of
really
country,
yeah,
like countryside-y accent. Yeah. So,
I mean, it's not a massive one, but
So I'm going to go through from the History Channel, Neil.
Go on then.
My personal Bible.
Yeah.
I'm going to go through a list of 21 theories about Oak Island.
Okay, let's rank them or something.
Why 21 theories about Oak Island history? Why is this not coming up? Internet's just broken, isn't it? Do you know what, Neil? I can't find that thing. So what I'm going to do is also from the History Channel, just as a little thing here. What does Nostradamus predict for 2024?
Well, there we go. Let's
have a look at that.
A little History Channel connection.
Published in 1555, the book Les Prophéties lays out his visions in the form of poems known as quatrains.
Quatrains, yeah.
That have been endlessly reread and reinterpreted.
Never forecast absolutely anything.
No, I've read a book about Nostradamus, like from someone
always in retrospect.
Yeah. Tying it, yeah, exactly.
It's almost like you're just some lunatic just wrote a load of gibberish and you can interpret it how you like.
It's just another grifter.
Sorry, I mean, great. What's been prophesied?
So, almost half a millennium after his death, Nostradamus is still history's most famous
and fascinate all of us.
Most famous astrologer and seer.
Well, I think you'll find Mystic Meg took over that, but anyway. Beg to differ, whatever source this is.
Hey, the game's about opinions. His number one status is particularly remarkable when you consider just how strange and cryptic his writings are.
No, not really. But there you go. As established, it's just all done after the event. Yeah.
So his quatrains have been endlessly reread and reinterpreted for centuries, with generations of readers believing Nostradamus predicted everything from the Great Fire of London to the nuclear devastation of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But what clues has he provided for more recent times and for our immediate future?
Indeed.
So, Neil, what did he get right about 2022 and 2023? Well, the world has been shaken by seismic economic shifts in recent times, and with the soaring costs of living affecting everything from food to fuel, Nostradamus seems to have seen this coming with his grim prediction.
Did he predict Liz Truss's presidency? Well, I'm talking about. God, I've gone to him. I've gone American. Did he predict her prime ministerial stint?
You've gone native.
Yeah.
So here's his grim prediction.
He's gone fully Yank.
Oh, no! Get him out!
Too much peak TV watching. Right. Diet of EastEnders and wash your soap out with soap and water.
So remember what we. So this is about costs of living, right?
Right. Okay.
So are you ready?
Yeah. Blow my socks off.
So will the bushels of wheat rise that man will be eating his fellow man.
Yeah, there's a lot of cannibalism in 22, definitely.
There's loads, yeah.
Yeah.
Right on the money.
Oh, I got straight to it. Yeah.
So, fortunately, the prophecies remain purely metaphorical.
Well, £5 for a bag of mints, right? I'm going to eat the next door neighbour. Eat my own foot instead.
But it certainly points to the everyday financial hardships that have been felt recently, with headlines last year noting how many people on low income had to decide between eating and heating, right? But not human or other.
Well, it depends how you interpret it, you see.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, which is the whole reason why prophecy is a load of fucking shite.
So, Neil, here we go. 2024. Climate catastrophe?
Oh.
We don't need Nostradamus to tell us that climate chaos is well underway, with violent storms, wildfires, and skyrocketing temperatures having been widely reported this year. But what's interesting is how he seems to have foreseen these apocalyptic events all those centuries ago. The dry earth will grow more parched, he predicted one quadrant, and there will be great floods. Everywhere he warns of very great famine through pestiferous
pestiferous, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, presumably where the great floods are, it's less dry, but yeah, fair enough.
Well, floods tend to come from sea. Yeah. Sea, what's the sea filled with? Salt.
It's going to dry out the earth, isn't it?
Going to dry out, right?
Jog on, son.
The later phrase potentially referring to tsunamis destroying agriculture and allowing disease and starvation to take hold. If such visions are accurate, which I think we all agree they are, we may be for an even more calamitous climate event in 2024 than many already feared.
Well, that's put me back in my box.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
So what's he predicting for 24 then?
That was one of them.
Right, so I'm convinced now. He definitely got the gift.
All right, well, okay. Well, I'll give you, very much like Infowars, I'll give you tomorrow's news today.
Now I just need to know, what am I buying stocks in, Chris? What am I hoarding?
Weapons.
Who do I need to assassinate?
You know what? You never go shy of a penny if you invest in weapons.
Job done. Don't worry.
A confrontation with China in 2024? Journalists, economists, and geopolitical experts have written whole tracts about the rise of China as a global power and how this is fundamentally reorienting the balance of power in the world. Many have gone further, openly saying that the rivalry between the United States and China amounts to a new Cold War. Of course, just as in the days of the Soviet Union, a Cold War with China carries the dreadful implication of a hot war. And there are some lines by Nostradamus which may well point to this eventuality shortly. A quadrant which opens with a vision of combat and naval battle. He writes that the red adversary will become pale with fear, putting the great ocean in dread. Pacific in it.
There you go.
And is the red adversary a reference to communist China now?
Wow. Certainly sounds like it.
Certainly sounds like it, doesn't it? Royal turmoil in 2024?
You talking about the British Royals by any chance?
I think so.
I guess watch out for any monarchy in 2024, given you're in an institution that's about 1,000 years past its sell-by date.
I was thinking last night, it's weird. I'll tell you what, right? We don't get, the world, or Europe, I guess, doesn't get many queens. But the queens, when we do get a queen, they tend to be pretty consequential, don't they? They do a lot of shit. Yeah.
Victoria, Elizabeth. I mean, she was short of reign, but still plenty going on.
Yeah, they tend to hang on as well, don't they?
Yeah.
And Elizabeth I. Massive.
I was referring to Liz I.
Liz II?
Yeah, and Liz II. She was around for plenty of time. Plenty went on in there.
Catherine the Great?
Yeah,
loads of them. Yeah, do you know what? I can tell you what Queen Elizabeth I did. I can't tell you what Henry II did. He's a fucking no-mark.
Married Eleanor of Aquitaine, I believe.
Yeah, and what? What did he do? What's he done for me?
Well, still owned plenty of northern France back in those days, Chris.
Yeah, but we don't now, do we?
Yeah, exactly. Degenerated, haven't we?
Oh, right, he was holding it, was
Don't,
he?
don't even own Calais anymore.
Holding the fucking line.
All we've got is Gibraltar to brag about.
Disgusting. There's some nonsense down in the South Atlantic called St. Helena and Ascension. So, in a book published back in the mid-2000s, best-selling Nostradamus commentator Mario Redding asserted that Nostradamus foresaw the death of Queen Elizabeth II in the year 2022. While this indeed come to pass, it is probably more of a testament to Redding's clairvoyance than Nostradamus's, since there's little in these quadrants that could really be interpreted as to pointing to the death of the Queen.
Oh, okay. So they're playing both sides. You know, they're being honest with their assessments. Well, that's good.
That said, Nostradamus does refer to someone he calls the King of the Isles, who had a controversial divorce. Who had a controversial divorce and who was driven out by force. What's more, he is replaced by one will have no mark of a king. In Redding's analysis, this points to King Charles III being forced to abdicate.
Replaced by King Neil I.
Due to persistent attacks. Well, we can but hope.
Yeah.
Presumably I'll be in the Privy Chamber.
Yeah, grinning still. Don't worry about it.
Nice.
Wipe a little bit harder, please.
You can get him to sign anything when he's constipated.
Just all the time.
Just all the time. Because he only eats
straight back into Tudor.
Only eats goose.
Yeah.
So
in my defence, goose is delicious.
Never had it.
No, neither have I. I don't have no idea what I'm talking about. Quite beefy, apparently, I've heard. Quite meaty. Oh,
King Neil. So, according to Redding, that means that King Charles Trey, will abdicate due to persistent attacks on both himself and his second wife, and Harry, the man who has no mark of king, taking the crown as opposed to William.
Spare no more.
Mm-hmm.
Decapitates his brother.
Yeah.
And then goes, behold, you're once and future king.
Behold, I have bested my brother, and I'm now going to be king with
legitimate combat.
It was legitimate combat. We had a right go at each other, and then I came out on top, and then he said, all right, you be fucking king then. I don't even want to be king. And then I said, yes, you do. I said, yeah, you do want to be king, but it's just I bested you in combat. And he said, no, you're fucking lying. I said, no, you're fucking lying. And then after that, I took the crown, and then I went to Buckingham Palace, and I told them to put up my favourite Thomas Tank Engine wallpapers.
And I did a headspin on the stone of scone, or whatever it's called.
So, a new pope in 2024, Neil. You'd be up for that, wouldn't you?
We're about due. Can it be another old man?
You collect popes like other guys collect cholesterol.
I just want another JP2.
JP2.
This one's not bad, you know.
I don't. Well, to be honest,
but the heart's not in it.
Well, I'm not really hearing much for him. Do you know what I mean?
No, that's what I'm saying. He's just.
Well, Pope Francis
doesn't relish the poping anymore.
He's currently in his mid-80s. Maybe that's what's something to do with it. And has suffered health problems in recent times.
I ain't casting shade.
So,
we need a new energetic 75-year-old Pope.
It's like in Father Ted with the over 75 five-a-side football tournament.
Yeah.
Father Romeo Sensini. So Nostradamus, is it going to be a new Pope? So he tackles the subject directly in one quadrant, and it doesn't bode well for the Catholic Church.
Go on then.
Through the death of the very old pontiff, a Roman of a good age will be elected, he writes. While the arrival of a younger, vigorous pope sounds like a good thing, Nostradamus immediately goes on to say that the new leader will weaken his see, and that he will be pope for a long time. That's fine. And there we go. There's some Nostradamus.
Some Nostradamus facts. There's a bonus bit at the end. Yeah. Right. Shall we do scores for the curse of the Oakley Islands?
I'm gonna say right now, I don't think it's going to score highly.
Oh, controversial.
Actually, it might. There we go. Covered both
Okay,
bases.
all right. Keeps me sitting on the fucking fence. Right, spookiness. It's not. It's more kind of like, I don't think it's spooky. I suppose Seven Deaths. That's quite spooky. I think there's the whole kind of like, people becoming obsessed with trying to find treasure that may or may not be there, but at the cost of their own life. Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to go about 50-50 on this one. Initially, I was thinking it's not really that spooky, but I think, it's that, people who just can't. You kind of, it's like the treasure of the Sierra Madre or something. You think they're going to be a good treasure there, and then you end up, or any of these kind of things. People get driven to madness, or just, they just can't accept it's that, there's the sunk costs, and driven on by greed and the sort of the thought they're going to find some treasure. So I'm going to give it a 5 because that's quite spooky.
Okay, so I'm going. So this is probably going to be my lowest. I don't think there's anything spooky here at all. I mean, some people have died, but essentially, like doing construction work, right? And that happens all the time. So,
well, I'll tell you what. Next time you do construction around Jules and there's 7 people die, see how spooky you find that.
Well, I mean, that's why my flat's haunted.
Yeah, right, Imelda Marcos. We'll just fill them in. Just fill them in and carry on building.
Doesn't matter. Don't matter. Just brick them up. Brick them in there with the shoes. I don't care. Yeah. I've looked at those shoes anyway. It's fine. Yeah. So I'm giving it a 2-0. So believability. What are we being asked to believe? That there is a treasure at Oak Island, right? So it's not supernatural, right? So instantly good believability. There's definitely been people have come and gone on the island, right?
Yeah, clearly from some of the artifacts that we found,
because it's actually like the most eastern point of Canada. So unsurprisingly, that would be a stop-off point if you're going across the Atlantic.
Vikings might have gotten involved at some point.
Well, they did. They definitely did.
Well, we know they landed in America, so yeah.
So, but so that's all fine and, all good. Do I believe that they're going to find a treasure there? I'm afraid I don't at this point, Neil. Maybe for the first 130 episodes, I still had that hope in my heart.
Hey, there's over 200 and running, Chris.
But unfortunately, after that, then it was more of a grim watch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Just waiting for confirmation, episode by episode. It
was like dark tourism.
The sad, tortured reality of existence.
That's it.
There is no light at the end of this tunnel.
Watching the two sexy brothers
just lead you down another tunnel.
Age, and their eyes become
aware of their own mortality.
Their eyes become sadder as they throw their parents' business down the drain in the vein because of their vanity to be on television. That's actually that. But I should have said that before.
Translated to a numerical form.
It's difficult because I want to grade consistently, but I don't really care, so I'm going to give it a 5.
Fair enough. Already forgotten which one this is. We got a bit lost in the
Oak Island.
No. Not
believability.
Believability. Oh, believability. Yeah. No, I'm going to give you a higher one because it could be a 10 because Captain Kidd Landing. There's nothing outlandish about that. Definitely the fact that they built a load of structures on it. There's a load of stuff that was found on the island. He wouldn't, like this kid he'd come across it, he wouldn't have put all that on for a hoax, far too much effort, especially with traps, things like that. So someone's been up to something there. And, maybe there was treasure and it was taken away again. Maybe that's the point. And that's why nobody will ever find anything. But I'm going to give it an 8, not higher than an 8, because it could be a 10, but because there's a bunch of unbelievable stuff in there and they seem to be saying things like, oh, yeah, the... whatever, like Jesus went there, and well, they didn't say that, but the Knights Templar, as you pointed out, wouldn't have gotten through to Nova Scotia. I don't think. I don't know how they're claiming that. So they've kind of embellished it a bit too much. So it's going to be an 8 for me.
Cool. All right. Narrative premise.
Yeah, I think there's plenty here. The fact that they've gotten 200 plus episodes of a history thing shows that there's clearly plenty that and that you're obsessed with this nonsense.
To be fair, we've got 200 plus episodes of this podcast out, so I mean,
I mean, don't get me wrong,
bar's not high.
We made rope out of thinner stuff, as we've proven, not just nearly out of the air. Yeah, but yeah, they say no. I think basically everyone's intrigued by things like buried treasure, and there's you've got the whole they've got the whole kind of historical stuff with Captain Kidd and what went on there. Is there anything on the island? Is there anything kind of like, because you're almost edging on the kind of supernatural, there's so many different things, and
I'm edging all right.
It's giving me some real Lost vibes. So I'm going to give it a 7. I think this is quite interesting.
Okay.
I think that you've got the central premise, which is nobody's going to find anything there, and that's a reflection on but they're still willing to go out there and keep looking for it. They're still driven by it.
So I think that actually just the history of the island, and like I said, the guy who escaped up to Canada, and
that's interesting,
and all of that, and then sort of ended up being sort of like a wealthy guy, right, off his own
work,
of his own work.
Because he discovered the treasure,
and he discovered the treasure. I mean, maybe certainly not there.
Who knows?
But I think that, the fact that probably the Vikings have been there, the earliest kind of Europeans to travel over there. Yeah, I think the island actually just has a very interesting narrative / premise itself without having to have the buried treasure stuff. But with that as well, I guess that's a bit of a topper. So I'll go with I'll give it a 7.
Nice.
So Reach, it's, because of the TV show, pretty big.
Well, the fact that they've got 200 episodes on the History Channel, I don't know. It's not going to be a messy one, is it? It's not. It's not like everyone's heard of this. It's not like my mum's heard of this.
No.
That's what Lip says we have.
But I think, considering it's something that no one had heard of 20 years ago, I think that it's fairly within the cultural zeitgeist. I think people would have heard of it. So I'm going to give it a 7 now.
I'll give it a 6. I'm slightly less down, but just because I don't know how widely known it is. It's not got massive loads of history, but I think it probably will be known in future, and well, who knows? But I'll give it a 6.
And as I predicted, that's
straight down the middle.
Overall score of 47.
Yeah, well, there you go. Not too bad.
Not too bad at all. So if you want to get in touch, or you have an island you'd like Neil and I to dig, then you can at herb.legends.podcast@gmail.com. But beyond that, I hope everything's all right with everyone. If you're in the UK, I hope you weren't overly distressed or whatever by the dickheads last week. They've been shown up now by the amount of people that went out that aren't dickheads. But essentially, right, a load of idiots who had been at the pub for like 2 days straight and doing fucking loads of cocaine, because that's a real problem at the moment, went out and started smashing shit up. Don't think it's any more than that. It's not a civil war. It's a bunch of fucking dickheads. And we outnumber them 1,000 to 1. So, take that as a positive, yeah. And something was going to happen because Labour got in. They were looking for a chance. Because unfortunately, some people live in the echo chamber of the internet, and they're told by other people who really, when you follow the money, don't have these people's best interests at heart, but they convince them that they're the silent majority, and they're absolutely not. But when you're just listening to people with the same views as you, maybe you believe that. And then suddenly you turn up in Brighton and you're texting Dave 189 on fucking Telegram, go, where are you, Dave? There's only 4 of us here and there's 5,000 of them. It must be a bit of a kick in the tits. But unfortunately, hate very rarely wins, and it's certainly not going to win under Urbane Legends Watch of the UK.
Indeed, pick the peaceful path, and you can protest if you want to protest, but keep it civil, keep it peaceful. Don't attack.
Go and others. If you want to do all that stuff, right? Go and do it against the people who are hoarding all the money from us. Go and do it against the fucking billionaires, right? Those are the ones who are telling you the civil war, right? While having fucking all of the money that should be used for all of the things like that you don't have in your life. It's not the other poor person, right? Who's taking it from you. It's the people who have all of the stuff, right? So if you want to attack someone, go and do that. But I'm not condoning that either. But pick your target a bit more carefully, dickheads. But for the rest of, I'm sure no one else is listening. But yeah, rest of you, we love you as always, and thank you very much for listening. And if you want to leave a comment, review, or anything, then please do. And apart from that, we will see you next time with something crazy. Goodbye.
Goodbye.